Hello, it's Maggie Emerson, and this morning, it's really actually early, but I'm inspired because I was looking at exactly this subject. If you ever want to change anything within or any relationship, especially with your kids, what do? I know I've spoken before on a couple other Facebook Lives about just some challenges that I'm having with my kiddo, and I was really like beating myself up for them and batting my head against a wall, and I started to like take a step back and let go of what it means to be a mom to him and to all of that, and what actually is really required here and what's going on with me that is actually helping create what's going on with him. And it's not that he has choice. I totally get that. And who am I? What am I choosing? What am I showing him? What am I being that is affecting, having the effect on? And really, it's a global look at relationship, right? Because we have our relationships with our kids, we have relationships with people in our lives. And so I want to ask you, have you ever been in a relationship where you wanted to change something about that person, and there was like this one thing or these multiple things that just drove you crazy? How'd that work out for you? Right? That you just wanted something to change with them. And how did that work out for them? Did it make them feel fabulous that you wanted something about them to change? Probably not. Did it make you feel fabulous every time it happened? It just ignited a like frustration, reaction, crazy within you? Probably not either. And so therein lies something, right? It's like, would you ever want someone to change something about you and decide for you that it needed to change? My guess is no. I know for me, when someone wants to change something about me, oh, my armor goes up. It's like off, like flip the bird to them, right? And it's like, if you're doing that with anybody, especially your kids, what is that creating for you? Is it creating a resistance? Is it creating something that's changing? My guess is not. Or is it creating like a snowball effect in what you don't want to happen? So here's what I want you to do, and here's how you can change any of that. It's probably going to be challenging at first to do this, but what you want to do is you want to look inside you. What have you decided is about that person that you're looking at that needs to change? What have you decided? What have you decided is set in stones that it needs to be a certain way? If this person is going to keep up like this, like doing what they're doing, is going to drive you nuts, right? Like for me, my kiddo is just, he's having challenges everywhere. And it actually, part of the reason I'm doing this live is that something changed within me yesterday, and how I showed up with him, that I saw a great difference in his evening, right? And so I'm just going to skip to the point here and let you know that anytime anything is going on and you would want to change something about someone else, stop. That's just not nice. That's not kind, right? It may be something that would benefit them if they change, but it's not your job to do that. Your job is to look inside and see where you are the one holding on to the way they are and projecting that onto them, and whether it's a vocal projection or an energetic projection, it's there. You've got to let that go in order for anything to change. Now here's the other piece. You cannot have your expectations on that it's going to change. If it's someone else, it's their choice to change. It is not your job to change them, period. Again, come back to you. How can I be with this, right? How can I be with how this person is? And then look at it even deeper and keep going deeper. And I don't mean like layers of an onion and going deeper, but there's surface stuff that we've got going on that we think of perhaps immediately, and then there's some weird stuff that will come up when you start looking at this for yourself that may surprise you, and will give you information as to why it is something that is reacting to you. So let me just give you an example of my kiddo. Is his behavior hasn't been awesome across the board, and I was judging the shit out of myself because of it. And finally, like bit by bit, and it took me a while, and this can be a split second thing, and be like, I'm not going to judge myself about this anymore. I'm going to be present with it. I'm going to show up with it. I'm going to get so present with it, even if it makes me cry, even if it makes me frustrated, even if like I'm going to be with everything that shows up with it, so that I can be a space where he can choose what he's choosing. Right? And I know I'm a mom and I will step in when I need to step in, but he can choose what he's choosing, and I can have me. Because what happens when I'm focusing on what's wrong about what he's doing or anything of that, I lose me in the equation. It's not even an equation. I just lose me, right? And so if there's anywhere in your world where you're with your kids, you're projecting the way they have to be, and it's igniting this fire and furrowing your brow, you're probably losing a piece of yourself in there, right? So how can you have you and be okay with them having them? That's something to ponder, right? And give them the choice. And the other piece I wanted to jump in and just give you a tidbit of the conversation I had with my kiddo last night that changed things too was me showing him that he's got choice. And it isn't me choosing these choices for him. It's not his teacher. It's not his friends. It's not his father. It's none of that. It's him. And he got it. And he started showing up differently last night. And who knows what today will bring. I mean, it's an ever-evolving process, right? I don't even want to call it a process. It's ever-changing. It's ever-choosing. But he had to look inside him and see and actually recognize and acknowledge that he is the creator, right? And somehow I was able to show him that last night. Woo, go me. And we'll see what it brings. But when you let go of how someone has to show up, someone has to be, that they have to change, your life will get a lot easier and you'll have you. When you're projecting upon someone, when you're frustrated and you're trying to change something with someone, you lose you. You lose you in the process, right? You get so narrow focused on something that you can lose that. You, not it, you. And then you lose the gift of the person you're projecting all that shit onto. You do. So go check it out. Go play with these tools and come back to you. Whenever you're pointing your finger at someone else, right? There's 3 pointing back at you. I don't know where your thumb's going. Depends on how you do that. But whenever you're pointing your finger at someone else, there's 3 pointing back at you. So reflect on you and how you're showing up. And you choosing to change how you show up will have a global effect on the rest of your world. Have a beautiful day.